Hi guys, today I want to show you a new element to deal with. It's been a long ways since we've come through ramps, and I still want to go over a few more things with ramps with you, but I figure it's time to show you something so you can mix it up a little bit, and that's the wall element. The very first button on the top left over here, it says wall. You click on it and you drop it and it drops a square. This wall here, when you click on it, it has its set of properties on the right hand side over here. You have a visual tab, a physics tab, and a timer tab. Timer tab, you don't have to bother yourself with that whatsoever. But the physics, this is where you decide if the wall you're putting in is collidable or not. So you can make a wall visually there, but physically it's not. Why would you want to do that? There are varying circumstances in which this could benefit you, but usually it would be something like an invisible wall that's actually collidable to help guide the ball where you want it to go. Here in the visuals tab, you have the top texture. You can decide what image you want to put that covers the whole top of the wall, however big you make it, as well as the material for the top. Now you also have side side visible, where you can decide if you want a texture for the side of the wall and the material for it as well. And slingshot material, we'll cover that a little later. Basically, any wall can have a slingshot effect. All they have to do is click on one of these dots, right-click it, and where it says slingshot, you add slingshot, and where that black bar is right there, it'll act like a slingshot. So let's say I were to rotate this 90 degrees here. So there's my slingshot. It's on this side. By the way, this, just like ramps, all these red dots can be dragged any way you want. All right, just for the testing purposes right now, I'm gonna put it here so you can see what the sling is gonna do. When you hit it, it's gonna act like a sling. If I can just get it to there. Boom, see, it acted like a sling. You even visually saw the sling. It just doesn't do the sound of the sling. That's the only thing that you have to code it. But if you want the slingshot material to be, I don't know, rubber, red rubber, okay? So if you do that, then when it animates, there you go. You see that the red rubber popping out. And that's going to be the same size as the wall. But that's if you make slingshots, but this is just a cheap way of making a slingshot. The real method includes a wall like this, but also you have to use rubbers, but that's for another day. So we're just gonna go ahead and remove the slingshot for now, which is on this dot. Yeah, there we go. So it's removed. Let's say we want to create an orbit. Well, what you can do is right-click and add dots anywhere on the shape. And unlike ramps, every dot you add is automatically set to smooth, but walls is automatically unchecked for smooth. So if I want to start making some smooth walls, some smooth curves, I have to right-click on a dot and click smooth, like that. Right-click smooth, right-click smooth, click smooth, and see I'm getting all these curves, pretty nice curves now. And like, it's only gonna curve each dot, like you connect as a smooth, it's gonna curve in between the right and left dot that it's connected to. So just keep that in mind. It's not gonna curve this one unless I click on it and also smooth that one. All right, so that's just to start again. Click a wall, add a wall. Let's say we want to create an orbit right now. A really good way to create an orbit, I find, and you're gonna laugh, but it's using ramps. What? Yeah, ramps again, and I'll tell you why. Because you can set your walls to be the right size using a ramp. So using a bottom height of 0 and a top height of 0 as well, you can then set the opening of your orbit, let's say 120 wide, and that's a pretty narrow orbit. For an orbit shots, those are usually a little more wider than the rest. And then, Control Z, then you can add dots, shape your orbit however you want it. Just like you would a ramp, right? Ah. You want this orbit to go all the way up here, let's say. Well, first thing is with the example table I give you, you can go ahead and delete this and that. This is the 3D model that's non-collidable for the stopper that stops the ball when you launch it. You can delete that and delete the wall that's actually collidable, that's in its place as well. Another thing you can delete, because we're going to create our own, is this here, this piece, wall 39. It's in the plastics layer. You can delete that. We're going to make our own. And then there is this section. All right. The collidable walls. In the section collidable walls on the bottom right, you'll have this wall right here. We're going to go ahead and delete that. That is a wall where we're going to make our own. Actually, we could just keep using this one. What the hell? We're going to do it the hard way. We're going to create a new one. All right. So our orbit's going to come all the way up here. We're going to use most of the playfield for the orbit on this one. But here the ball, remember the ball launches into that orbit as well. And here there's a one-way gate, so when the ball shoots up this orbit, it's going to hit this one-way gate and come back the other way. Which is fine for the test portion of this, it's fine. We're going to make the top width 80 maybe. There. So the wider you made the ramp, when you decide to create an orbit, what can happen is that the ball can bounce a lot from side to side and lose momentum. So you actually want to narrow a narrower path will prevent bouncing from wall to wall and keep the ball's momentum. So if you notice you created an orbit that has a hard time going all the way around, that's usually because there's spots that are too wide on it. Usually the opening has to be wide. That's fine because it has to funnel in the balls. But then in that structure that curves around, you want to make sure that it tightens up where it needs to, where it's necessary, so you can direct the ball where you want it to go. So using this as a template, I'm just going to go ahead and launch a ball, show you that the ramp is flat on the table. Oh yeah, I removed that wall over here that guides it as well, so I have to bring this all the way down here. That's pretty much where the wall is. So this is where I'm gonna have my outside orbit wall. Boom. All right. So now that I know that I have that wall and I like it, there's a cheat method. Okay, there's a very cheap method. I don't like it, but a lot of people do it for testing purposes. What you can do is make this ramp bottom width 5 and bottom width 5, top and bottom 5, like that. And now you can use this as a wall, because the outside of the ramp is just as collidable as the inside of it. The ball doesn't have to go in the ramp. Pardon me, I got hiccups. Whew, sorry. So this is a cheap way of doing it, and I really don't recommend doing it this way. But what's nice about it is that you can use this as a blueprint and then just lay the groundwork for your wall, and then set your wall above it, and then just add dots to follow along. And then you know if the ramp curves this well, then you can easily shape a wall in this type of fashion. Although a wall is going to be a lot more painful because there's 2 dots per section instead of just 1, like a ramp does like this. And what you can do with a ramp actually is let's go left wall 50, right wall 0, so it's just 1 wall. There we go. And now we got that wall in place. Oh, the one's clipping through the back there. But as you can see, we got that wall in there. See what I mean by the one-way gate? This is too high. Should be there. Alright, so I like the overall structure of it, but let's say for this game, I don't want my ball to launch all the way to that one-way gate at the top. I'm going to make a different launch path. So this is a wall as well. Walls stop, it's called, I guess. Oh. All you have to do is right-click, unlock it, click on one dot, hold shift, click the other dot. Then you can hold shift and down with your keyboard at the same time. It'll move it faster. If you just press down with the arrows, it's increments like this. But if you hold shift and a key, it goes a lot faster. So I'm going to shrink it down to about here. And then I'm going to make the ball come out when I launch it. Okay, I'll do it with the wall. I'll do it with the wall this time to show you it's the same thing. So you just want to add dots, get them close together. Just add dots, and then it's just like Play-Doh, really. Just remember to smooth where it needs to be smooth, and then you should be fine. I'm gonna make a path this way for the ball launch. That's about as far as I needed to go. And remember, wherever the ball momentum, if it's going up this way with a lot of momentum, it's going to rub off on this wall. So remember, what do you think would happen if the ball would fall this way, follow that wall up? It would start going right this direction. It would hit around here, if I had to guess. So we're going to go ahead and try. Let's see where it is. Boom, exactly. Let's say we wanted it to launch a little further up and actually go this way with the orbit. Well, first let's go remove our one-way trigger, which is on the second layer here. Triggers, gates, and whatever's. This gate here, we can just click on it, press delete. Selected elements are part of one or more. Do you really want to delete it? Yes, we do. Alright, it's fine. So now that's deleted, okay? And actually, it can delete this wall here. We won't need it anymore as well. That, I'm actually going to move it up ever so slight. No, I'm going to change the angle on it. This. So with the momentum, it's going to go upwards. And then this orbit over here, I'm going to bring it in quite a bit. We'll say there's some targets there or something. Can that even be hit? That's fine. I'm talking to myself, sorry. I'm trying to figure this out here. I just want to tighten this up a little bit here. Add some dots over here. All right. So there's our first orbit, basically. I'm gonna make it match up to down here. All right. This I can delete. I don't need that anymore. All right. So now when you launch the ball, watch it go. Boom. Oh. Well, it didn't do exactly what I wanted to do, but there's one orbit wall ready to go. Okay, but those don't work well when you want to texture because it's a ramp. So eventually what you need to do, sadly, it's going to be this. Take your square, then line up one corner with one corner over here, then the other corner with the other corner, like on the ramp. Then you keep going like this, but you want to go a little further. Add a dot, right click, smooth. Add a dot over here. And this dot can come over here and right click, smooth. And that's what you're going to want to do the whole way up. So you're going to follow each of these little spots. You know that's where you need a dot. Right click, smooth. Add a dot. Right click, smooth. You just keep going and keep going, zooming in, zooming out using your control key on your keyboard and your mouse. So what you can do is rough cut it, which is a lot faster, I find. So you know you need some dots there. Okay, keep going. You're gonna need two dots here, so one here and one here. Good, keep going. You're gonna need two dots. Oh, not the right element. You need two dots over here. Gonna make it a little wider, so I'll come and fix that later. So just rough cutting it for now. So add a dot here, add a dot there, here a dot, there a dot, everywhere a dot dot. Here we go. Come on, let's go. See how it did that? Followed the beat. all right. So keep going, keep going. It doesn't take forever, but it does take considerable amount of more of time. This is why I prefer to start with ramps just to test the shots. And you only come with the walls afterwards when you have cemented it. When you know for sure, okay, that wall's not moving. But there are circumstances where you have no choice but to start to go with a wall. Because you got ramp openings, gaps in the wall. Unless you use a bunch of different ramps, which you can. There's nothing wrong with that. Trial and error. You'll find your way, you'll find your groove. Just don't be afraid to mess with it, because this is all learning. All of this is just for fun, right? And you can see I'm not struggling that much. Hell, we're almost done here. Okay, so I got all the dots that I need. All that now I have to do is place them correctly. These ones, you do not have to add smooth. And you're like, why are you making the wall so thin? Well, technically, I don't have to if I didn't want to. I could have the wall go all the way in like this. But to do it professionally, I find professionally, you have to think of how a pinball table is really made. There's always a thin wall that brackets around an orbit. And then there's a plastic that sits on top of it. And in that space, that empty space behind it is where you would put GI lighting. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to. Like I said, you could make this all solid and it will still perform the same, and you can still technically kind of make it look the same anyways. So there's really not much you're losing out by doing it that way. I am just showing you the long way, which is also the right way technically. I I didn't used to do it like this, and I still have tables out there to this day. They're not made like this. I would completely I would have this like all the way, like that would be a wall. Like where you don't see it, I didn't care, right? I would cut corners. And technically, there's nothing wrong with that. Alright. Smooth. Right click smooth. And we're almost done here. But that's just the outer wall for an orbit. You still have to put an inner wall. But this is where you're gonna have to think of strategy for where you want the ball to go, the path that you want to go. Because sometimes you want, let's say you shoot up this way, you want the ball to come all the way around. But when you shoot this way, you want it to go in a different path. That is tricky. And it can be done with just the curvatures and little spaces here and there. Things you'll learn over time, and I'll go over with you later on. I just want to show you the basics of the wall element for today. So things you can do with the wall. We're going to texture this wall as well so you can see what it's going to look like. And then I'll show you how we make a plastic to go above it. Smooth. And that will be it for today. I didn't want to make a long video. I think we're already in the long video part here. So okay, so we got our wall. This is our wall here. So now we can take the ramp that's underneath it, this, move it out of the way, put that back in its spot, make sure it's right where you want it, right there. Alright, so we got that in the right spot. Now this ramp here, we're gonna go and delete it for now. Just delete it. I'll show you what this looks like. See, it's the exact same thing as before, but now it's a wall, and there's a benefit to this. A lot of it. Okay, if you were to texture a ramp, that'll be on my next video, texturing ramps with special images. But the thing with an image that you do on a ramp for a wall, it stretches an image, it doesn't look well. A wall element, however, will take the image you have and place it on it. So in this case, let's say we want the side image, which is visible. There's one that's called side wall, I think. Side wall. I can't remember if it's H or sidewood or sidewood H. One is, I think H is for height. Yeah, we'll try it that way. Then put plastic as your material, and the top we'll leave it as is for now, just so you can see the side. See, now it has like a wood grain all the way around. So that's if you wanted wood grain for the side. But what my favorite material, which is more for like current ramps, is you want to put metal 3 as the side image, metal 3, and as the side material you want to do metal 8, 0.8 right here. So metal 3 and metal 0.8, that's something just magical for some reason. I'm going to do the same thing for the top as well. And look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's metallic and it shines just at the right spots. You could mess around with it if you wanted. Metal 3, let's go plastic. Let's see what happens if I keep the metal 3 but put it plastic. It's more dull. Let's say if you go and put it just metal, regular metal. It's about the same thing. It's a little darker with metal 8, I believe. But there's all kinds of ones you can mess with. Metal violet, let's try that. Oof. You'd have to take off the image. Go none. None. So it's just metal violet. There you go. Look at that. The purple metal. So you can mess around with those materials and images. I find that whatever image you have, if you choose metal as your material, it will darken the image quite substantially. So let's go aluminum and metal for this one. See, that's not bad as well. They're very subtle. I know you're looking at this and thinking they all look the same, dude. They all look the same. But you'll notice these changes as you work with them. All right? So, let's go ahead and shoot the ball a little bit. See, that's not doing what I wanted it to do from the start. Can I make it do what I wanted to do, which was launch right into that orbit? Let's see. Almost. So I think I have to bring this down a little bit more. So click and then shift and click the other dot. Bring it down. Now this wedge here that I use to... I can delete that. That wedge is just there for... it's a wall. Just in case you didn't know, those pink things that stop you from losing the ball are just walls I put there so you can test shit out without losing the ball every single time. So that can get frustrating. I'm going to bring this down quite a bit. And I don't want the angle to be... Yeah, I think that's it right there. Let's see. Ooh, so close. It bounced, right? But if I had an inner wall on there, let's say I go make a duplicate of this. Control C. I'm gonna lock it. Control V. And let's go ahead and start moving this over yonder. And this is without the ramp right now, so it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. I would use a ramp just to know how wide I want this to be. But really, I just want to rough cut it for now. Oh, make sure you don't cross like this, because it'll create holes. Don't want to cross the streams, man. If you go like this, I'll show you what happens. That's a hole on top there. And that little triangle is hollow. Here it's hollow when you do that. Just rough. Bring that in there. Alright, so we've got our openings here. And just gonna mess with the outside. So they can tighten up back here so it can gain speed. Stop losing its momentum. It will lose momentum if it's bouncing around. So that's why I like to use a ramp that's 60 wide as my base usually. So I know exactly how wide to make these orbits if you're struggling with the speed of the ball. Otherwise you can eyeball it like this and it's gonna work fine. Be careful not to have a flat part like this, because if the ball reaches to a flat part, it can stay right up here. So make sure there's always like a peak and it comes down on both sides like that. So this way, well, it's still good potentially slow down there, but that's fine. for just this demonstration purpose. It is still smooth, okay. Alright, let's see. If I launch it now, is it gonna? No, it's going in there. Still kind of cool, but not what we wanted. We wanted it to go in the other orbit. But it seems like it wants to do that one quite well. So that actually makes me want to keep the middle one. Yeah, you know what? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep this. We're just gonna refine it. Boom. 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 There we go, it's fine. So technically you have two orbits there. That goes all the way around, feeds to that flipper. And you can go right back. You got one there. So there you go, you have orbits used with walls. Now let's make it plastic by using another wall. This time, we're just going to cover the whole section here. And I'm going to make this very rough to save on time. So I can bring this all the way to the upper corner over here. Add a dot. Go all the way to the other corner over here. Then I'm going to add a dot here, smooth. Add a dot. Add a dot. Add a dot. Smooth. And this is just rough. You'd have to take your time and shape it to the way you want to shape it for plastics. Okay. And you'll see what I mean by plastics in a second, all right? Smooth this. Smooth. There we go. So we got our plastic here, but now if you click play, it's going to be just like it's glitching and all that, and it's a block. What you want it to look like actually is to sit on top. So over here, like you would do in the ramp, you have to set its bottom height and its top height. So we want it to sit on top of the wall that's 50 high. So we're gonna go bottom 50. Oh, bottom 50, and then we'll make the plastic just 5 thin. So we'll keep it 55. And voila. We have a plastic sitting on top. You could make that non-collidable too if you wanted to. But now we have a plastic, and this is starting to look like a playfield. May not be acting like one like you wanted to, but this is just rough cut, right? You could have ramps in here, a ramp there. Just go to town with this, man. This could be very potential. Potentially be anything you want, but these are the elements. Let's put textures on that plastic. So top image, we'll put, I don't know, blue. I think there's one called blue in there. Was it cobalt or plastic? Wait. Plastic. Oh, okay, no, it's not that. Thought I had one that was cobalt blue, but oh, it's image. We'll just put aluminum and material plastic cobalt blue. There we go. Side image, plastic cobalt blue. No side image for that one. There we go. We have our plastic. And that's it, guys. I'm sorry to make the video so long. But that's it. That's all you have to do. So this is a new element for you to test around, mess around with. So create an orbit. Make me a table that has at least 2 ramps and 2 functioning orbits. Or at least one. At least one. Alright, catch you later.